All right, we're back for part 3. The best things come in trilogies, but this will be a quadrilogy, I think, if that's a word.
Quadrilogy.
We'll go with
There's
that.
things that have 4.
We'll go
If you
with
count
that.
The Hobbit, there you go.
There's 4 of them, yeah. All right, so thanks. We're going to get into utility. This is the biggest component. I find this the most difficult to explain to people in layman's terms.
Yeah.
It gets difficult to grasp. And so we have our special guest, Mike S. Miller, to talk to us about his NFT project, NFTs in general. And we're going to get into utility during this particular episode. Before we get into it, though, don't forget to like and subscribe. Really subscribe. We need those subscriber counts to go up because we're a brand new channel making content just for you to learn. So help us out and we will continue with the content. All right, so we're getting to utilities here. This is one of the biggest questions I know I've had. I've talked to you about it a few times now, Mike, and you explained it in a very simple way about a piece of paper. That, if you can take that away, explain that to me one more time for the camera, because I thought that was beautiful.
The only blank piece of paper I have right now is a napkin.
We'll count it.
Do my piece of paper pitch.
We'll count it.
All right, so an NFT is a contract. It is a contract on the blockchain. It's not the art. It's not the. Well, that's not what this might. It's not the JPEG. It's not the MP3 file. Whatever it is the contract on the blockchain. It is literally not a napkin, but a blank piece of paper. The utility of a blank piece of paper, you can wipe your mouth with it. You can also write the deed to your house on it. You can write a marriage certificate on it and bind two people legally for all time. You can make it a ticket that gets you into a movie concert, or that gets you into every movie concert from somebody for the rest of time, right? A piece of paper has countless utility cases, right? Same thing with the NFT. When you create utility on an NFT, whether that's sharing in the profits from a video game or like I said, free, say San Diego Comic-Con did a NFT for all time, it would be like winning a Eisner Award, where you could get into every San Diego Comic-Con from here till the end of time. That would be a utility. And again, I could just come up with example after example until I'm dead.
So,
and I could not run out of the utility possibilities.
Right.
But when you buy an NFT, if you don't just value it for its art, what utilities does it bring to the table? Now, I on the previous episode, I said my NFTs have too much utility to explain because I just keep adding utility. One of the utilities for one of them, the Frat Monkeys, is shares from the Starship Space Station video game. I own a Starship there. I'm sharing the profits with the holders there. And then
I'm one of those, by the way. I'm one of those holders, by the way, just so you know. And it got released, so I now know what it looks like and stuff. So it got So it's got a zombie head, the green head. Isn't that somewhat rare, at least?
Yes, that is, the green head is a rarer head color.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I love him. He's got a bowling shirt on, and it looks like he has some vodka in his hand, some vodka and ice or something. He looks great. I love him.
But so we kind of touched on, I guess, those 2 points, in that so many people are looking at NFTs as, well, it's the artwork. Like, why is it, and they look at it from an art trading and buying standpoint, which, yeah, it can be that to some degree, but that's so limited if you think about the whole world of paper in that case, or any kind of image. It's symbolic of the utility that's behind it, and that's where there's so much interesting innovation happening. So when you approached your project, the Funky Monkey Frat House, right? How did you come up with the concept for your utility to make it valuable beyond just the image?
Well, that's an interesting story, because initially I'm not a programmer, right? I'm not a dev, and I didn't know what I could do. So I did what I knew I could manage, and at the very beginning, each Funky Monkey Frat House was essentially a lotto ticket, and I was going to take a percentage of the royalties from every month or every quarter, depending on how well it did, and I was going to do lotteries, and I was just going to give away. My plan was to just be giving away tens of thousands of dollars to people like it at each one of these giveaways, and all you had to do was own one of these one of these NFTs, and like you're validated in the Discord, and you just enter the lottery for free every time, and you just get someone's gonna win a whole bunch of money, right? And that was so I knew I could do that without a dev, without anything. So that was my initial promise. As time went on, I've been adding value to the NFTs. I've been adding utilities. I took some of the money that we got. I bought that Starship space station so that at the promise of this being a money generator, I could turn around and give 75% of that money back to the community, right? And then I had the idea to make my crypto chads, and so I sold the secondary set called Launch Chads, which funded all of these launchpad projects. If you know anything about launchpads and IDOs, you understand that you can, when you're in a launchpad, you have access to IDOs, which can turn hundreds of dollars into tens of $1,000s overnight. It's happened to me, and it happened to me on a personal level, and that's why I was like, I have to make this utility something for the frat. So we're creating a secondary line called the Crypto Chads. These are all going to be getting those we call them RADs, random airdrops. No promise of monetary value, but a constant rain of just free tokens falling into your wallet. And so as I go along and I create more things and more projects, I just want to keep adding and piling on utility to my collections, so that everybody's just going to be like, you'd have to be brain dead not to want one of them.
That's a crazy point. I gotta say that's a crazy. So you're saying you can think up new utilities for your old NFT and allow it to be a part of that, right? Yeah. I think people don't understand that's you can bring to life old NFTs that maybe didn't have as much bump just by giving it a utility.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and so I don't want to point any fingers, but I was talking to a friend of mine who actually did the art on this NFT project that did sell during that big hype, right? And their utility was buying the floor, right?
Oh yeah.
That's all it was. It was like, we're in a hype cycle, and in order to maintain the hype, we're going to keep buying the floor. So they spent a ton of the profits from their sale buying the floor, and couldn't maintain the floor. And so now the floor is like half of what the mint was. They burned through because they were buying and burning.
Ooh, ouch.
Thinking that it doesn't matter. Look, man, supply and demand. It's fine if you keep shrinking your supply, but if the demand has run off to go buy something else, then
what are you left with?
You're missing half of that formula.
It's supply, and that's not enough.
It sounds like burning currency in, I don't know, World War II or something, post World War II.
Venezuela.
Yeah. Well, so it is interesting too, because with your project, I see the frat house, and I don't know, I actually see a link between that because it's eclectic. You're getting, you never know what you're going to get. It's constantly new stuff, which is, I think, interesting to me, and it's kind of on theme the more that I think about it. So I like that a lot.
And if I can add to that, it's something else I learned as we went through this. When I started this, and it's still on the website, so I do apologize, but everybody back then started with a roadmap. Everybody still today is starting with a roadmap, right? This is what we plan to do. This is our vision and whatever. It's great to have a vision and a plan and all that stuff. But I call roadmaps wish lists, because what are you going to do? So you say you never know what you're going to get with the frat. It's true because I don't tell you what I'm doing until I've done it. I don't put things on the roadmap. I just surprise you with something that I've locked in, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't announce Starship. I bought Starship and then I announced it, right? I didn't announce the Rads. We bought into it and then we had already bought, what do you call it, a test run of one of these launch pads, and then we're already knee deep in it before we announced we were going to sell the launch pads. So yeah, I have a very kind of I to the greater world it's probably backwards, but to me it's the only way to make sure I'm fulfilling my promises. I hate making promises I can't keep. It's like the worst thing to me. And so that's the way I do things. And
I love it.
Makes a lot of sense.
I want to give my last 2 cents. So you would say utility. If you want to really be in this game, that is the focus. Is that a true statement, or am I off?
As far as longevity of your project, if you're building utility that has value and that will keep people wanting to hold your projects, that's why our little hashtag at the frat house is NFTs you hodl, because we don't want NFTs you flip. I don't want to make NFTs anybody wants to flip. If at some point they have to sell it for liquidity, that's one thing, and it breaks my heart. But I want everyone who buys these to want to die with them. Right? So yes, in that case, it is the utility that is functionally the most important aspect. But if you want to be successful, you have to have utility and you have to have marketing that can reach out to enough people to support the project.
That's actually a fantastic segue, because we're going to wrap up this video and get into the next one on marketing with NFTs. I appreciate you being here, Mike. And this whole series, we've been talking with Mike. We've been talking a little bit about your project, but I got to remind everybody, if you want to learn more about it, we have the link in the description below each of these videos, so you can check it out. And I'm sure we'll get into it more in our next video here on marketing. So thanks very much, and we'll see you in the next video.